Hi, it's Lynette Gray. We're here on campus at Texas State University in beautiful downtown San Marcos. It's a beautiful day, and a beautiful day for us to hunt down some great roommate stories, some bad experiences, some scenarios, and that's what we're doing here today with the National Renters Association. I hear you have a bad roommate experience. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I actually moved in with 3 girls. None of them I knew. 2 of them were in the same sorority. They were like best friends. Through a bunch of like petty little fights, we stopped getting along less and less. Got to the point where she was calling cops on me, I was calling cops on her.
My first year I lived in Sterry. I had a bad roommate. She was kind of obsessive, and after a while I ended up having to move out. She was normal at first, but after a while things just ended up getting weird. And
she threw away all my food and threw away my trash can because she just didn't like it. She decides that whenever my boyfriend comes over, she would undress and start walking around in her underwears because...
My bad roommate that was supposedly engaged, but she kept bringing guys back to the room, and she would kick me out of the room at like 2 a.m.
One of many is when I was trying to get to sleep because I had a test the next day, and my roommate comes in like 3 in the morning, stumbling, drunk, and starts throwing change because, I don't know, I guess he decided he wanted some apple juice from the vending machine. And just like, man, I need $1, and starts throwing change everywhere and like knocking his posters off the wall, and tried to go in the hallway with no clothes on. We were like, dude, just calm down.
It's my third roommate going on.
Oh my gosh.
Well, my first roommate, she was just different. She was, I'm not against like lesbians. But she would hit on me, and I guess girls and roommates, you need somewhere where you're coming from home. You need someone that is, with you, and you have your privacy, but you're still like friends and stuff, and it just wasn't working out. And then
my roommate at Blanco Hall actually kept stealing my clothes behind my back. In the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, whatever, take whatever you need, bring it back. Well, she just never brought it back, so progressively, just got worse.
One of my friends' roommates would come home so late, like 3 or 4 in the morning, would turn on all the lights, and she'd be sleeping. And so she just completely woke her up every night. And the roommate actually asked her nicely and politely, can you please not maybe come in so late or stay with a friend that you're out with? And she never did anything about it. So she ended up moving and switching dorms completely.
All right, I'll tell you a bad roommate experience. This is quite funny. When I was a freshman in college, I was staying in a dorm, and the funny thing was I had a roommate who was 21, and he liked his alcohol a little bit. And I was a bio major, so I had to study a lot. I studied chemistry, and I had a study partner who was a female. And this all ties into the story. What occurred was one night, I'm watching TV, it's kind of late, and I'm laying down, and all of a sudden he comes in really drunk, along with my study partner, and she's really drunk. And, this is a dorm, it's a small area, so basically I can reach over and touch his bed, And then while I was still in that, trying to go to sleep, they started to attempt to have sex while still in the room.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and you know, my reaction is like, you know, hey guys, you know, I'm still in the room. You know what I'm saying? I'm still here. I know y'all drunk, but you know.
Once, my roommate had been gone for a while, and suddenly her stuff looked like some of it was packed up. And I learned the day that she was leaving, that she was going, and she took like everything, including like the shower curtain. So I was left with nothing, having to rush out and get supplies.
Well, I was living in an apartment. It was a 3x3. My roommate's boyfriend lost his job. He came home to live with us. He wasn't paying rent, wasn't paying electricity. He was eating all of our food from the refrigerator. I even found a note one day on our refrigerator door saying if we could please clean up our mess and, you know, yada, yada, yada. I was a little offended because my name's on the lease and so are my two roommates, and he had no say in it. But yeah, basically he was just living there without paying anything. We never sat down or had any kind of discussion on any rules or, you know, what his input was going to be, taking out the trash, simple duties like that. So
I was really excited about getting a roommate when I first graduated high school. You see it on TV, all the roommates, they become really good friends. And so when I first got to school, we got along pretty well. She was really nice. And the RAs came up and told us that there was this thing called roommate agreement, and you kind of like filled out a little list of boundaries and stuff like that to just make it easier. So if ever we got into a fight or had a disagreement and we went to the RA, they'd kind of refer back to the roommate agreement thing and be like, well, you agreed to this, this, and this. Well, we were like, we get along so well, we don't need it. And that ended up being a mistake because later on in the year, things just got tense and awkward, and we didn't really get along as well. I ended up moving rooms. But now that we're living apart, we get along a lot better. But I think if we'd, you know, signed that roommate agreement, it really probably would have been helpful with everything.
Like going into this roommate situation, had you had some sort of paperwork that you could have set some ground rules, would that have helped?
Yes, it definitely would have helped.
For sure. Yeah, they should just talked about it beforehand.
Yeah, exactly. And it would really help if the management in the apartment complex had sat down and tried to like work things through and say like, this is what you do or don't do in a roommate situation, and this is what you do or don't do when you're having a conflict.
Yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, it probably would have, or if we had just been able to communicate more than the first 2 weeks before we moved in together.
Yeah, because, I mean, I didn't know what I was going into, and it would be good to have that.
Wow.
Oh yeah, definitely. We would have at least sat down and discussed, you know, what his part was going to be in it. If there were going to be people staying over, if they were going to help out, that definitely would have been something that we should have discussed prior to someone actually moving in.
So it sounds like him moving in through the whole course off kind of, and it did end up costing you more money and stuff.
It did.
More food.
Yeah.
More...
Oh, it did big time, and it kind of ruined my friendship and my relationships with my roommates. I didn't really know where to kind of draw the line, and I didn't want to offend anybody. So now I find myself not wanting to be in my own apartment because he's always there and his friends are always over. So.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course, everybody has bad roommate experiences. You know, shoot, you can walk around campus, ask anybody, they'll tell you the same thing. You know, they've at least had one roommate that's giving them a problem. So.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes, you know, because you might go into college with the right expectations, you know, but you never know who you're going to end up matched up with, you know, so it's always good to have a, you know, maybe a friend from maybe the same high school or something that, you get along with, y'all can support each other and, you know, just mutually encourage one another. But yeah, everybody's got some stories, you know, stuff's going to happen, but you just got to stay focused on your individual goals, you know, and try to do the best you can.